phone in the future. The story of the smartphone thus far began with technological breakthroughs, paired with ingenuity, but eventually evolved into a year's cadence of iterative improvement. 10 years from now, when we gaze upon the devices in our hand, I expect we're going to be telling one of those two stories again. The most likely story, as always, is iteration. Absent some breakthrough, we will likely have much more impressive version of things we can buy today. Nearly every time someday they says that there will be massive breakthrough in 5 to 10 years, but be it driving cars or augmented reality. The safest bet is that they will be making the same prediction 5 years later. Even with iterative updates, smartphones will be radically better than they are today, and they will be different in some ways too. The screens will be brighter and fold in different ways. The cameras will be so advanced that they will threaten to imitate even a higher end SLRs. Our phones have altered our expectations of what's possible.
So welcome again to our very own channel Celbritay, and today we will discuss how phones can be seen in future. So let's get started.
Our mental process. Now, how we expect to have all things with us at all times in our pocket. As humans, we like to have the entire world and at our fingertips instantly. We even tend to precise time in such a way that a few seconds feel like an eternity. For example, if a phone takes more than a few seconds to boot up and snap the perfect shot, that's just not good enough. We went from a colorless non-digital screen to a fully smart pocket computer. We are now able to read, watch and listen to anything from anywhere in the world. This is called smartphone revolution. Now it's only a decade old. Before the smartphones in the 2000s and 90s phones were a lot less than they are now. The people in the 90s was a basic organizers. However, in later years, modest camera and basic internet 1G added magnificence in comparison to the 1980s phones, which were designed for calls only. The 1980s phones have become the grandfather to all the billions of phones in our pocket, thanks to Dr. Martin Cooper, Motorola's researcher who had the invention and the first call on a mobile device in 1973, which had to wait for another 10 years for first actual launch of the mobile phone in 1983, with the start of Motorola's Dynatec 8000X, which was the analog heavy prototype model. Over the years starting from 1973, cell phones have changed drastically, from simple to smart. These mobile phones have become humans' primary data and correspondence centers. One can say that a cell phone is fundamentally essential to present-day life. We have seen the chronology, how mobile phones have changed since 1973 to the present moment. We have gone through the physical size change of the phones over the years. The transition from black and white analog call only capability to super smart usability device to full color in is well known to all of us. We went through the timeline of 1G to 4G, our current 5G web service, and also have witnessed the change from a traditional button input to swipe and scroll input. The changes relating to camera and other smart features is also a scroll and witnessing changes each and every day. The mobile phones of future are expected to more closely embedded in our day-to-day life than even before. Some futurologists and industry experts predict that in years to come mobile phones will become remote controls for our whole life, while others forecast that in the future mobile phones will literally run our lives for us. One thing's for certain, the technology involved in mobile phones and mobile networks has developed so rapidly over the last few years, it's going to be an exciting ride. So let's have a look what's in the store for us for the future phones. Holographic displays. From Star Wars to Iron Man, holograms have long been a regular feature in sci-fi and futuristic fantasy films. But how close we are to being able to having touch-free technology on smartphones? As far back as March 2014, rumors were flying around about the 10 unreleased iPhone 6 containing holographic functions that allowed you to beam virtual displays to interact. The demo video shows the user interacting with all three screens simultaneously and even playing a game projected over the handset. Unsurprisingly, the technology didn't make it onto the iPhone 6 or even iPhone 7. It has not been reality in iPhone 13 even. Holographic phones could one day be reality though, especially if the HoloFlex prototype showcased by researchers from Queen's University in Canada is anything to go by. As the name suggests, the HoloFlex is both holographic and flexible, allowing users to bend the handset to view the 3D display from different angles and interact with the images on screen. Touted as the world's first holographic flexible smartphone, the HoloFlex is still in development. Can we expect in availability in any soon? Mind control. Back in the day, the main way of using a phone was a physical keypad. This was eventually replaced by the touchscreens we use today, with services like Google Assistant and Samsung Bixby. We can now interact with our devices just by using our voices. I think the next step in the evolution is mind control. The technology would allow you to perform every task you can do via touch or voice with your mind. You could open an app of choice, play a specific video and some futuristic version of YouTube, and even edit images with your thoughts. You could also send a text, control the screen brightness or create a movie from the videos you have captured. You get the picture. Using smartphones would be a lot faster with mind control. You would no longer have to search for an app to open it or to stretch your finger all the way to the top of the screen to tap it. You could perform any task in the heartbeat. We are still far from anything and something like it becoming a reality. But scientists are making progress in the field. As we reported back in 2017, Facebook's Building 8 division is developing technology to allow people to type with their minds. The typing speed targeted is 100 words per minute, which is about 5 times faster when compared to typing on our smartphone. Scientists at MIT are also working on something similar with a device called Alter Ego, which lets the user converse with machines with only their thoughts. He is hoping any such technology in the future doesn't require you wear a weird contraption and you had to use it. Even though the idea of using smartphone with your thoughts seems crazy now, it just may become a thing decade down the line, fingers crossed. Smart glasses. The most tempting prediction to make is that in 10 years time, the handheld smartphone as we know it will be replaced, or at least relegated to our pockets more often than to my smart eyeglasses. We are already on the path, though early attempts like Google Glass were too rudimentary, creepy and strange looking. More recent tries from companies like Focal still depends on the phone for too much of their functionality. Meta, the newly rebranded company behind Facebook, is continuing to explore the concept, and Apple's oft-rumored mixed reality glasses remain in development. But it doesn't take much to imagine a sleek future pair of fully independent smart glasses with lenses that double as private display for things like our notification, real-time air direction and video streaming. The main obstacle between existing and more capable smart glasses is being able to shrink all the necessary technology down into pair that normal people would want to wear in public. Display technology also isn't quite where it needs to be just yet. Some past smart glasses had projected their UI onto the lens glass, but that's where things get bulky. The other fundamental challenge is coming up with an interface that makes sense and feels like the right fit between your eyes and the outside world. Eye tracking would have to play some part in that. Think of how often you check your phone throughout the day. No one would want to be constantly flirting with swipe and tap gestures on their glasses that frequently. Voice detection also needs to be evolved behind its current performance on mobile devices if we are going to be comfortable leaving our foldable phones or slabs at home. Even if this all figured out, the tried to true smartphone won't be history 10 years. Productivity and other tasks simply lend themselves better to a device with a screen and keyboard. Eco-friendly smartphone. Companies are always looking to make their product more environmentally friendly, and phone makers are no exceptions, with researchers looking into biodegradable materials and cleaner energy charging. At the Mobile World Congress to Trade Show in 2016, Kyocera showcased a solar-powered prototype, but by their own admission, technology won't replace the need for a wall charger anytime soon. This phone was primarily designed for users who work outdoors, as well as anyone who is likely to be away from a power source for an extended period of time, such as campers or skiers. Still, the company claims that 3 minutes of sunshine will give you enough charge for a 1-minute phone call, which could provide users with an emergency charging option if their mobile dies far from home. Another concept about promising a green alternative to electrical charging is the 2009 mechanical mobile prototype by Michael Stossel. Unlike the solar-powered prototypes, The mechanical mobile runs on kinetic energy. The idea behind the design is that you spin it around on your finger to charge it up. The obvious benefit of this, besides helping the environment, is that you could charge this phone pretty much anywhere. However, it's unclear how much finger spinning it would need to boost the battery significantly. And we can foresee many broken phones as a result of overzealous spinning causing phones to take flight. We suspect this idea may need some more clarification before we are sold on it. Changing colors. Phones come in a variety of colors, and choosing the best one can often be a struggle. Black, silver and white give off a more classic vibe, but they are also boring. Red, green or purple colorways stand out more, but can give devices a toyish, less professional look. With smartphones of the future, you may not have to choose anymore. Imagine a phone with a completely transparent back, made from a glass-like material that fully absorbs light. The device would have one or more LED lights inside, the color of which you could change in the settings of the phone. When you choose orange, the entire back cover would completely absorb the color of the light and look exactly the same, almost as if it were painted on. This technology would allow you to switch between different colors as frequently as you would like. The features could also have a mode to change the color automatically on a daily basis. With a few LED lights inside properly positioned, you could also create gradient colors like what the Huawei P30 Pro has. This new glasses-like material would also be virtual unbreakable, and so you wouldn't have to worry about cracking if you drop your phone. Unlike glass phones today, it would also be registered to fingerprints. The future of front-facing cameras. One of the biggest differentiating features between different smartphones nowadays is the front-facing camera. Does your phone have a big notice like an iPhone? A teardrop notch like plenty of phones use? A punch hole cutout like many Samsung phones? A pop-up like several companies have embarrassed, or something else entirely? Well, it's possible that future phones will have none of the above. The front-facing cameras would actually be under a display. This method removes the front snapper from view, so it won't take up screen space, but it won't take up a lots of internal space either. So what about the cameras itself? Towards the end of 2019, we have seen a few smartphones use two front faces, one to make pictures and secondary snapper for depth sensing, for more accurate background blur. In the next few years, and especially into 2013, we accept this trend to get more established. Selfies are one of the main types of pictures you will take on your phone after all. More rear cameras? While you may think the future will bring your phones with plenty of smartphone cameras, far from so than now. That might not end up being the case. There are only so many different kind of lenses, so we will soon reach a point where adding more lenses adds nothing new. No, in fact, the real change will likely to be megapixel count. At the end of 2019, the highest resolution in the smartphone is 108 megapixels. Scientists have estimated that the human eye sees roughly 576 megapixels, but that's assuming perfect vision with an image right by your face. So if you're looking at a phone at arm's length and don't have flawless vision, the number highest than you will be ever need. So people don't need cameras and incredibly high megapixel count, and it won't be a surprise if phone companies decide to even reach 576 megapixels. Saying that advances in megapixel count will almost certainly be more pronounced than the number of rear cameras. OLED and A-Link in one. OLED displays are great for watching videos and playing games, but they aren't the best for reading. E-ink displays like those in Amazon's Kindle e-readers are a much better option. Using e-ink displays, eyes don't get strained after reading for a few hours. It also lets you read outside under direct sunlight. This is more or less impossible with OLED displays. Sure, features like night mode filter out blue light and can even turn the screen to monochrome. But even when enabled, OLED displays still don't come with to matching a e-ink technology in terms of reading comfort. The smartphones of the future are envisioned to combine the OLED and e-ink technology into one, likely killing dedicated e-readers. With a simple tap in the setting, you could transform an OLED display into an e-ink screen for reading books, articles, and various documents without all that light shining into your face. An e-ink display is also a lot less power hungry, which could mean longer battery life. Unfortunately, something like this is impossible at this point. Apple had a similar idea back in 2011 when it appealed for a patent regarding a hybrid e-ink OLED display. But we haven't seen this technology hit the market yet. There are phones available today featuring both display technologies, but they don't combine them into one. Quite match the kind of futuristic hybrid display technology we should see in the coming decades. Over-the-air charging. Let's face it, the battery life of the average smartphone sucks. Even you need to have a high-end phone like the Mate 20 Pro with its massive 4200 mAh battery, you are still only looking at around 2 days of average use. Once the device runs out of juice, you either have a plug-in for a couple of hours or place it on a wireless charging pad if your phone supports it. Things could be quite different in the future. A company called Ingenious is developing technology to charge device over the air. Place your phone within 3 feet of the WhatsApp mid-field transmitter and will start charging right away. I love this idea, but let's take it a step further. Imagine a future where these transmitters are a lot more powerful and can charge device over the air at great distance. They could be placed across countries just like cell phone tower today and would constantly charging your smartphone from afar, making sure it never runs out of juice. These charging transmitters would be so powerful that keep your smartphone battery at 100% all the time. You would never have to worry about battery life again and would get rid of all the pesky charging cables for good. The technology wouldn't be exclusive to smartphone either. It would constantly charge all your gadgets from Chromebooks to Bluetooth headphones and smartwatches. It could even charge your electric car, which is what we will probably all be driving in the future. Stretchable phones. The next big thing in display technology in the near future seems to be flexible displays. We have already seen a few foldable phones including the Royal Flex 5, Samsung Galaxy Fold and a Huawei Mate X. When I think about the new and next technological breakthrough in this area decades away, I envision stretchable phones. Instead of unfolding the phone for more screen like with the Flex 5, you would stretch it out to increase its size, sort of like a rubber band. All you have to do is pull the phone from two of its corners diagonally. This type of device would let you quickly increase the size of device when watching videos and make it smaller to fit in your pocket. For it to work, the vast majority of the components would have to be stretchable, not just a display. Obviously, there would be a limit to how far you can stretch a device. If that limit was 50% of the size of the phone, for example, it would mean you could transform a 6-inch display into a 9-inch one. Work is already being done in the field of stretchable displays, but we are a long way off from fully stretchable phones becoming a reality. Samsung announced a prototype of a stretchable display in 2017, which can be dented up to 12 mm without causing damage. Shown in the image above, the display just bounces back to its original flat shape, similar to a trampoline, so it's not really what I had in mind of the future. Engineering researchers at Michigan State University have also developed the first stretchable integrated circuit and see a future for stretchable electronics. Our work would soon lead to printed displays that can easily be stretched to larger size, as well as wearable electronics and soft robotics appliances, said Sean Wang, assistant professor at Michigan State University, in a release from the school. In addition to making phone larger or smaller, stretchable devices would also add a new dimension to things like gaming and watching videos. Imagine playing a first-person shooter game and a display flexing out while someone is shooting at you. The experience could be a lot more impressive. Ambient computing. in the most sci-fi future vision of the next 10 years. A phone isn't something we carry around with us. It's everywhere. Every room in your home has a smart speaker, a screen, a lamp, and who knows what. That's connected to the network and ready to do whatever you would ask of your phone. Outside of the home is more of the same. We don't carry a personal device with us. It's in our car, at our bus stops, in every public station and street light. Rather than face the unrisked task of taking a phone out of your pocket, unlocking it, opening the right app and typing words on its little screen, the world around us will simply be equipped to do the tedious stuff for us. Need to send a message to your mom asking her how she's feeling after her bionic limb replacement? Your bathroom mirror was 2 steps ahead of you and sent a message this morning. Running into the store for last minute dinner ingredients? Your shopping cart already talked to your refrigerator and knows what you need to buy, which aisle it's on, and how to pay for it all once you are done. We'll outsource the personal bits for personal computing, freed from the confines and little glowing screens, and just move through the world like sea. It will be great or awful, probably awful. There are very obvious and serious ethical problems with this scenario. Equipping the world around us to anticipate and solve our needs requires us to surrender an incredible amount of information about ourselves. And what happens when the almighty algorithm decides when we are acting suspicious? By analyzing our sleep patterns, purchases, and oral hygiene habits. Just take a look through the last 70 years of sci-fi movies and literature if you want to know how that works out. May a fully ambient computing life isn't in your future. It's not a stretch to imagine the aspect of this vision would come to life. Will there even be smartphones in the future? Smartphones of the future may not be smartphones at all. These devices may take on a whole new form factor, which will enable us to perform the same task as smartphones do today, and more. I see a future where smartphones in their current form get replaced by what looks like regular glasses. Yes, I know, you have already been seen devices like Google Glasses, which failed miserably. But the product I have in mind goes beyond Google's Pearl project. It's just sort of like Google Glass on steroids. My version of futuristic glasses would let you make or receive calls. When someone rings you, you had seen their name's image in front of your eyes. When you answer the call, you would immediately hear the caller without having to use an earphone. The glasses would be bond conduction technology on something even more high-tech. They'd also be able to play music, offer turn-by-turn navigation, and read the emails and texts you receive. All these things could also be displayed in front of your eyes using AI technology. Of course, the glasses would feature a camera on board. When you had want to take a picture, the frame would show up in front of your eyes, showing exactly what the camera will capture. Say the word snap in your head and the image will be taken. Thanks to AI technology, the glasses would project a screen in front of you, allowing you to watch your favorite shows, play games, see the images you have captured with the camera, and browse the web. That means you wouldn't have to buy a dedicated TV, which would save you money as well as space in your home. With these glasses, you would also be able to see 3D holograms of people. Just imagine sitting in your living room and watching Marilyn Monroe singing your happy birthday Mr. President, or fiction dancing, or pop. The experience would be extremely impressive. A lot of companies are already working in the field of smart and connected glasses. In addition to Google, Intel showed off a pair of smart glasses this year, which project a stream of information in front of you. But unfortunately, the company has already given up on the technology. An Amazon-backed company called North is working on a similar idea, their glass called Focus, which is expected to go on sale by the end of this year. Then there are mixed reality headsets like the Microsoft HoloLens, which brings holograms in front of your eyes. See how it works in the video below. So the glasses I have in mind would combine smartphone capabilities with holograms and other features offered by today's smart glasses. It's an interesting idea, but let's go crazy and take it a step further. Imagine these prosthetic glasses being replaced by a small computer placed in your brain. You are able to receive calls from while hearing the voice of caller in your head, just like your thoughts. You had listened to music the same way, heard GPS direction and more. Additionally, you are able to take pictures, watch videos, play games and see holograms. But instead of image being projected in front of you by the glasses, the computer in your head would project them through your eyes. Essentially, this computer would be capable of doing the exact same thing as the smart glasses of the future, but it would be less intrusive. Well, kind of. It would have to be placed in your brain, but at least you wouldn't have to put it on and off every 5 minutes. It would also be impossible to lose it or force someone else to steal it. It all sounds like science fiction, something you had accept to see in the cartoon like the Let's. But hey, perhaps it will become a real thing in the future. After all, work is already being done in this area. Elon Musk founded a company called Neuralink in 2017, which is working in the field of neural layers technology. The idea is to import tiny electrodes into the human brain to allow them to communicate directly with machines. The technology will also enable you to upload and download your thoughts. Seriously, with that in mind, I feel like anything is possible in the future. However, the current development of technology is still far behind my wild imagination. I see a future where everything is connected and our smartphone, or whatever replaces it, can communicate seamlessly with virtually every device. As long as you have it with you, your front door will open once you get near it. You will be able to unlock your car and start the engine, and even go through the mechanical gate at a subway and airport if the ticket is saved on your phone. And will be fantastic at least until your phone gets stolen. Liquid buttons. Years ago, it was a norm that most phones had physical keyboards, and any mobile phone device without one SIM out of touch. But currently, the opposite is true, and most people think that tactile keyboards look old-fashioned. Well, it's all set to change again, thanks to tactile technology and the development of a keyboard that looks it came from some sort of advanced alien civilization. The keyboard uses special microfluidics technology, which drives small amounts of liquid into invisible pockets that rest over the typing pad on a smartphone. When the user brings up the touchscreen keyboard, the pocket instantly fills with liquid, which has the effect of physically raising the buttons. The technology has already been incorporated into a new phone case, the iPad mini, but it wouldn't be too much of a stretch to see it directly built into future smartphones. No SIM cards. Although manufacturers have made efforts to reduce the size of SIM cards, they still feel very much like a leftover relic of the 90s. Thankfully, Apple and Samsung are making strides to rid the world of the physical presence of SIM cards by replacing them with an electronic version. By having a programmable SIM integrated into your phone, you will essentially be able to switch between network providers at the drop of a hat without having to request a new SIM card, which should come in quite handy for anyone traveling or living abroad who wants to get set up with a local number. It said that the technology would be available in new smartphones as early as next year. So that's it for my thoughts on what I'd like to see from mobile devices in the future. Now it's your turn. There are many other features and facilities which could be discussed as part of the future of phones, which is primarily focused on the demand and ease of the customers, not to forget the role of scientific and technological developments. So with this, here comes the end of this video. Hope you all guys will love it. We have so far discussed about the phones in the future. Hope this will give you more information regarding these phones in the future. So for such more contents, keep following our channel. Don't forget to like and share this video and drop your comments about the phones that you like and you want to have in the future. Subscribe our channel and hit the bell icon to get timely notification of all the uploads. So till then, take care, bye bye, see you in the next video.